a truth about TSAVO that sounds like a lie. TSAVO apartments.
How long for us to go? You know people are leaving. Like watu wametupatia huko juu wanasema wametungoja kuanzia 5.
What?
Come on, babe. Come on.
Umepata nyingine? Hii shikie kwa hivyo kidogo. Mbona ile kuna ground juu? Simu. Simu inaweza kaa. Sitaki kupigiwa. Umepata another tray? TSAVO apartments are full. Yes or no?
Good evening, viewers. I hope you're all doing great. My name is Yola Natalie, and I'm a fire partner in TSAVO. It's yet another great day for us here in TSAVO. We have gathered for the launch of our 19th project in one of our projects off Ngong Road at Wanye called the TSAVO Skywalk. And so we really want to say thank you for those who've been able to come physically. And for those who are joining us live, do let us know where you're watching us from. And so tune in. There's a great program that is ahead. And we're looking forward to officially launch TSAVO Delight, our project on Oloitook Road in Kileleshwa. So do let us know where you're watching us from. And it's a brilliant evening. The house is full. We know that also our online platform is also full as well. So thank you so much, guys. Looking forward to have you on board. Yeah.
Karibuni, let's settle down. From this top, you all look very lovely. You all look very lovely. Karibuni, let's settle down. Savorites, please allow our investors and potential investors to sit. Karibuni sana. Habari zenyu. How are you guys doing? Thank you so much for giving us this honor to have you and to host you here. My name is Martha Inyuma. I'm a fire partner here at TSAVO. Anyone who has ever had something called fire? Maisikia fire? Sasa mimi ni mtu wa huyo fire. So I'm a fire partner here at TSAVO, and I'd like to welcome all of you here. Feel at home. This is one of our buildings, so you're literally in TSAVO. This was our COVID baby, so this is a very special project for us. For those who've known us for a while, this was the project we boldly launched in March 2020. And so this was really seen by the grace of God. Today we have an amazing session up for you. We're very excited that most of us have been able to keep time. This is a first. We do apologize. I think we were meant to start at 6:30, but we just needed to give a few minutes to those who are going around to see the sites. Don't panic if you've not seen the units. Immediately after this session, we'll have another session for you to come and see. But today we really wanted to bring you home, for you to see that what we testify online actually happens on the ground. Simeona? Hii mjengo, it has been here for more than 2 years, and you can see it still stands. And hopefully you've been able to see the people who live here. We have an amazing team that has made this happen. And we also have an amazing team of Savorites who are our residents. So as you go around, you'll get to see them. But before we start, I'd like to call Bilha on stage to just lead us with a word of prayer.
Habari zenu. Good evening. I would want to request us all if we can just stand. We can stand so that we have a word of prayer. Okay. Our Father and our God, we bless your name on this wonderful evening that you've given us, Lord. We don't take it for granted that, Lord God, it pleased you, Lord, that we may see this day until this time. We thank you for this event that, Lord God, you've enabled us to have, how we surrender ourselves, our minds, our everything to you, Lord, that you be with us, be at the center of it all, protect us, guide us, and see us through the whole day, the whole evening, Jehovah, all for the glory and honor of your name. We thank you because we know you are with us, as you've promised, that, Lord God, you're going to be with us until the end of time. How we pray that everyone is going to speak in this place, oh God, may they build us, Father God, all for the glory and honor of your name. We thank you, and even as we come to the end of this evening, Lord, we shall be careful to give you all the glory and honor because you're giving us victory. It is in Jesus' name we do pray, trusting, and believing. Amen. You can have your seats. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bilha. Just to alert you, of course, we still have a number of people who are flowing in, but we also have our diaspora investors. So we are live on all our social media handles at TSAVO.ke. And for sure, you might know someone who needs to be here, and they are not here. For one reason or another, they might not be able to have made it here. Kindly share our online platforms at TSAVO.ke. We're live on all our social media handles. They can get us on YouTube so that they can also benefit from what you'll benefit while you're here. I'm so happy to see all of you. Munaenda kunibamba kwa sababu now it is like you are the ones who are hosting me as I stand on this stage. So I hope this will be as engaging as possible. We have our teams that will move the mics around. And so I want you to turn to your neighbor. Say neighbor. Say neighbor. Jua jina yake kwanza. So find out what's their name. You never know. The person who will win this challenge, we might give you a free house. If you're seated next to the person you know the name for the first time, I bless you. You will leave this room being a Savorite. Who else? Niku bless. Squeeze hata sisi wadogo tuko na blessing. Who else? If it is the first time tonight you've heard the term Savorite, naweza kupea nyumba bure. If it's your first time to hear the term Savorite, so we are not very new, sindio? So welcome. This is Savo Skywalk. This is one of the projects we've done. Today we want to make it as engaging as possible. I hope I can get the mics to move around so that we can do a few icebreakers. Please, ukiletewa mic usikatae. Nimekwambia I can give you a free house. So we want to play a quick game. How many have done speed dating before? Who has done speed dating before? So I want you to turn to that neighbor, Sawa, and ask them 3 interesting questions. I want to give you the questions. So ensure you get it right, because I'll ask you what you've learned. You ready? You ready? So this is question number 1. Spot the neighbor you want to ask. This is question number 1. If you were to live anywhere in the world, where would it be? That's question number 1. If you were to live anywhere in the world, where would it be? I hope you've gotten that. There are 3 questions. If you were to live anywhere in the world, where would it be? If you were to win the lottery today, Nasikiza? If you were to win the lottery today, what would you do with that money? So question number 1, if you were to live anywhere in the world, where would it be? And if you were to win the lottery today, what would you do with that money? Aya, mambo ni matatu. So the last question, if your friends, so if you have friends, so if your friends compared you to an animal, if your friends compared you to an animal, what would that be? Sawa? You've gotten me? You've gotten me? I hope you're discussing the questions. So if you were to live anywhere in the world, where would that be? If you were to win the lottery today, what would you do with that money? And if your friends compared you to an animal, what would that be? Aya, you ready? So ensure you have all the three answers. By the time the mic is coming to you, you have all the three answers. From this side, volunteer someone who will represent anyone. Juma, naona utapeana mic hapa katikati. Ah, yes. We have been appointed for a gentleman. Tumpigie makofi. Yay. Ah, just come. Just come.
Hello.
Just come. Aya, we have our first volunteer. So the three questions, what have you gotten from your neighbor?
Yeah, thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity to be here, first of all. So my neighbor there, do I say her name?
Yeah, say her name.
My neighbor there is, her name is Zaituni,
Let's listen.
and the first question is where she wants to live, and she's saying that she would like to live in Florida. Secondly, she's saying that if she was to win the lottery today, she would like to invest in your project. She will put all that money in your project in Kileleshwa.
Hey, pigeni makofi kidogo. Hey.
And thirdly, if she was to be an animal,
Yes.
she's saying she would love to be a cow.
A cow? Should I panic? Unajua nimevaa black and white naanza ku... You can talk to me directly. Oh, that's nice. Let's give Zaitun a hand of applause. Alafu sasa we sema yako sasa.
Kwa majina naitwa Gideon, and I'm happy to be here. And I would like to learn the terminologies. I think you are talking or you're asking people what is a savorite. I would like to learn more about that.
Yes.
What is this fire? Ni
This
moto wa-
fire. Ni moto inachoma nini? You can answer the three questions for yourself. So if you're to live anywhere in the world.
For myself, first of all, I think for me, if I was to get an opportunity, I think I'd like to live in Paris. Secondly, is that if I get the money, I have a piece of land somewhere and I would like to invest in building my own house.
Nice.
And then thirdly, I think I'm a Simba, I'm a lion.
Hey, so hey. Thank you so much. So we want a volunteer from this side. You can pick, or the mic shall pick. Oh, tuko nayo. Please come. Both sides, both of you can come and stand with me. We have sufficient space. As this beautiful lady comes on stage, this side, please pick someone.
Good evening. I'm very shy. Okay, so I'm seated next to a beautiful lady called Mary. The three things she'd like to do when she gets, the first thing is?
Where she'd like to live in the world.
She's told me Windhoek, Namibia. It's very beautiful. The second thing?
What she would have done if she won the lottery.
She said she wants to buy 15 apartments. 15 apartments?
Wow, yeah.
I don't know why. She already has like three, four.
Ooh.
Maybe 2 of them will be mine.
Yes.
I'm her
yes,
favorite.
Yes.
The third thing is the
where
animal.
Yes.
She's
Which
a
animal?
lioness.
She's a lioness.
She's a go-getter.
Ooh,
And I
nice.
love her for that.
Let's clap for Mary. And then you can
For
introduce-
myself?
Yes.
Let me see. For myself, okay. So where I would like to live is Japan. I love Japan. It's very advanced in technology. So the second thing is, what will I do if I win the money? Fly to South Africa for 1 week on holiday. and think about coming back to build on top of a hill, just like the other guy was here. Yeah. And then the third thing is which animal? I would really like to be a dolphin.
Oh, that's
It's a
nice.
very beautiful animal.
Yes, it is. Thank you so much.
Oh, do I get the free house?
Yes.
Next time.
Wacha tujadiliane. Yeah, thank you so much. One more person. It's very interesting. We're getting into people's minds. Can see? You really see what people think about or what people desire.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. I'm seated next to a lady called Agnes, and the beautiful part of it is she's my wife.
Oh.
So at least today I got to learn 3 things that I didn't know.
Ah, nice.
For 16 years we've been together.
Ooh, let's clap for them first.
So the first question where she would want to live is Seychelles. I don't know why, but I'll find out.
Would you go with her?
Why not?
Itabidi?
Itabidi sasa ni huko ameshachagua. And then the other question was what she would do with the
Lottery?
lotteries that she would invest, but she doesn't know on what.
Nice.
Uh-huh.
So I sweet talked her, told her to invest in me. Because I've already invested in some.
Ah, nice.
Just move forward.
Yes.
And then the last thing is that she would want to become
like to be a lion?
A cat.
Kanyau.
Oh,
My name is
know why.
Margaret.
yes.
But it's because that Kanyau drinks a lot of milk every time. So she wants to live in a land full of honey and milk.
Yeah.
Then for me, I think where I would want to live if I had a lot of money is I had told her Zanzibar, but I'm changing that to I would love to live in Nanyuki.
Ah.
Yeah,
Ah,
Nanyuki is a good place currently. And then if I won a lottery, I'll just buy the whole of Delight in Kileleshwa.
Hey!
Right?
Yes.
Then the animal I would love to be is a python.
Python. Yeah. Dangerous. Thank you so much. Aya, tuwapigie makofi. Yes, so this session will be really, really engaging. Of course, we want to hear you, but we want to also demonstrate that we are all here for something great, that everyone really wants to invest. Everyone really, at some point, wants to define that fire. For us, we say financial independence, retire early. Define what that is for you. And that's why we exist, and that's why we have this today. Of course, sorry? Whoa, one last point. Hey, today you're making me happy. Please come.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to express my neighbor or my colleagues' mind and wishes and goals, and of course also mine. My name is Margaret. I live in New York. I've known TSAVO for some time, but just online. I happened to be around, and I was invited to come and be in the lounge, so I made the time to come and see it. I was sitting next to a handsome young man called Bill. He said the best place he would like to live in this whole wide world is Kenya.
Oh.
Secondly, if he happens to win a lottery, he says he would like to invest in some apartments. The third question is what kind of an animal he would like to be compared to, or he would like to be. If that was the case, he says a lion.
Yes.
Okay, my turn.
And for you?
Okay. Where would I like to live in this world? I would like to live in Kenya. I would like to live in Kenya in Oshago. where I can eat all the fresh fruits and vegetables and away from all these processed foods. If I were to win a lottery, it depends on how much it would be. I would like to own a building like this TSAVO Sky Mall. The kind of animal I would like to be compared to, or if in case I have to be an animal, I would like to be a cat.
Hey. Let's clap for her. Thank you so much, my dear. Yes. So I have one short exercise for you before we dive deeper. Are you ready? Hii ni rahisi sana. By the way, hapa ndio nyumba free inaweza tokea. Let's try and see. You ready? So this game is called Two Truths, One Lie. This game is called Two Truths, One Lie. So I'm going to say statements. In those statements, 2 are true, 1 is a lie. I hope those who don't know TSAVO rights might win something. So all these are about TSAVO. Sawa? You ready? So TSAVO has 17 projects. That's statement number 1. TSAVO has 17 projects. TSAVO has been in existence for 9 years, and TSAVO builds its own buildings. So TSAVO has 17 projects. TSAVO has been in existence for 9 years, and TSAVO builds its own buildings. Who has an answer? Hey, please. So, what are the two truths and what is the lie? I repeat for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
TSAVO has 17 projects so far. TSAVO has been in existence for 9 years. TSAVO builds its own buildings.
The lie is TSAVO has 17 projects.
How many
This
do you
is
think
number
we have?
19.
Hey, tumpigie makofi. Lakini kusema ukweli, ukiangalia vizuri sana, we might be on project number 20. If you just look very well, we might be on project number 20. So Kileleshwa is the 20th. Yes. Hii si 19th, ni mtoto wa COVID ni ya kitambo. Sasa hiyo bado tulikuwa tunasema TSAVO, mtu anafikiria park. Sasa hii aya. So we have the second set of questions. So TSAVO has a total of 4,000 investors. TSAVO has a total of 4,000 investors. TSAVO has a board of directors. TSAVO is owned by foreigners. So those are the 3. Hey. Saya basi situpigie kina mcharo makofi. Hey, you all know. So the last one is, the idea behind TSAVO was to build a city in TSAVO, the park. TSAVO funds its projects through the bank. TSAVO has no apartments outside Nairobi. The idea behind TSAVO was to build TSAVO, the city, to build a city in the park, TSAVO. TSAVO funds its projects through the bank. TSAVO has no apartment outside Nairobi. Anyone ready to respond? Oh, yes, please pass the mic. Oh, sorry.
I think the bank funding is not true.
Oh, yes. Karibu. Tumpigie makofi tafadhali. Yeah, so thank you so much. Today we're here to share the TSAVO story. And the TSAVO story involves us as part of the TSAVO rights. It involves you as the people who've invested with us. It involves the residents who live in this building. And it involves everyone who is here with us to enable us to really make Kenya a better place, so that when we are asking where you want to live, Kenya might actually be the place. But it will only be the place pia kama wewe uko financially independent. So we hope we are able to impact your life to really, really help you make better financial decisions, that by the time you win the lottery, you actually have something worth pursuing. So here is the TSAVO story.
Love ain't nothing like in the movies. Fairy tales left me confused, but don't love make it choosy. Stressful, keep putting your best foot forward. Knees locked, cause you're nervous. Are you really deserving? Where did you go? Hidden from all love, nobody else will know. Jachunya, babe, haruganiga. Ilana, iruno gawia, jomoko beki sehinya. Yawa, 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 yawa. Ilana, mopiro wena.
Useme about TSAVO. You talk about TSAVO, talk about us. Talk about us. Fanya hii about TSAVO. And then I'll give you the TSAVO dream. By that time, how many minutes to launch? How many minutes? How many minutes? 1 minute for 10 hours.
She said, hello, brother. And I said, what do you mean? She said, why can't you see? I said, what's in front of me, baby? She said, I'm right, alright, yes. I said, I might, just might. She said, come talk to me. Said, I'd just be urgent fee, no fee. Gave me her name, she gave me her name. Feeling the same, we're feeling the same. Feeling no pain, we're feeling no pain. And I got something to say. Oh yeah, can I get to know ya a little bit more? And we can be just friends, and I'ma take you dancing. Love the way you move your hands, and can I be your man, girl? Oh, and now wait, we'll take it nice and easy. Do what you do, don't please me. Na ukizunguruka, nami nitaruka. Nani nawe, baby, we'll take it nice and slow.
Sorry, guys. We really do apologize. I think, yeah, technical hitches. Please reduce the music. Thank you. We're experiencing a bit of technical hitches, but we'll still tell the TSAVO story. I'd like to introduce our founder, Leonard Mcharo, to join me on stage. I think you'd be in the best position to tell our story. Karibu. Pigia makofi.
Good evening, good people. Good evening, everyone. It's so wonderful to see you. Poleni sana, I don't even know what happened. I hear there was a video coming and then suddenly there's no video. We hope we'll be able to get that right. It's such a wonderful thing to see all of you here. Karibuni TSAVO Skywalk. This was our project number 6. And we did it during COVID. It taught us a lot of things. My name is Leonard Mcharo. I'm one of the founders of TSAVO. I'm together with this very beautiful lady. Isn't she lovely? Yeah, this is everyone be out what your name is.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. It's really wonderful to see you guys. And my name is Emily Mcharo. Yes, karibuni sana. Yes.
We have the distinct pleasure of leading this team of wonderful people at TSAVO and doing this work that we've been called to do. And today we want to share a story. When we asked the team what the theme is for this year, for this launch, he said, it's your story. It's your story. It's my story. It's everybody's story. And I think everyone has a story. You may be young, you may be old, you may be on your way up, you might be during a difficult time, but you have a story. And I think stories are such powerful things. Even for yourself, when you're traveling a journey, stories are such amazing things. And we have tried over the years to tell our stories, different stories. We have told stories of our marriage. I think all these things are somewhere in the YouTube thing. Because TSAVO, in a sense, is about love. It's about two people who have decided to do something and do it together. Can you imagine working together, husband and wife, and the challenges that are there? So we have to sort out the office, and we have to sort out the home, and we have to sort out parenting, and we have, it's challenging. But there's a story right there. TSAVO is a story about finance and financial independence. And we talk about fire. You hear those terminologies. Fire is financial independence, retire early. And you have talked about the story of financial independence so many times. And that's a story right there. TSAVO is a story about leadership. It's a story about bringing together a team of dedicated young people. And they give all they have. I think all of you are here. Maybe I've never met 90% of you, maybe 95% of you. But I know that whoever it is that is talking to you is representing what is in this heart of mine. Whatever blood flows in my veins is the same blood that flows within these veins of these people. TSAVO is a story about Kenya. Going to places like this, taking a slum. This place was full of sewage. This was just a path of sewage. Taking this and turning it. And making sure that people, young people, can afford to come and live in amazing places. So there are so many angles to this company about TSAVO. I don't know what other story I have forgotten.
So TSAVO is really a story about two people who started life from a place of lack, so to say, and having turned that story into a beautiful story. Yeah, it's a story about two people who, sorry to say this, at the very beginning, my mother used to send us ndengu and njugu. So it's really a story about two people who started from really nothing, and this is what it is today. And it's a story of God's faithfulness, that even in that God remained faithful through the years, that we can stand and say it's our 9th year, it's our project number 20 that we are launching today, and that's just a story of God's faithfulness. Yeah, so to sum it all, really, it's really a story about what God can can do if you decide that you're really, really just going to trust in him. Yeah.
Wonderful. Now, we realize that a lot of our investors in TSAVO are professionals. Each one of you is involved in doing one thing or the other. So today, allow us to take a few minutes to talk about our professional journey. And hopefully you will see yourself at one point or the other in terms of just a professional journey. So we'll not talk about very many other things, but we'll try and focus on our professional journey. And our journey started in 1995. 1995, I joined the University of Nairobi. And I was there, and for the first time, I was in my element. I'm in one place, I'm going to study architecture, and I'm like, I'm going to take this whole architecture thing by storm, and I'm going to join student activism and become a student leader in Sonu. I wanted to be the stone thrower. At the same time, in 1995, this young lady was in Form 3, somewhere in Western Kenya.
Just declared my age.
Oh, well, yeah. And she was not very serious. She was not very focused. And there's this great man called Mr. Minishi. He was one of the principals of those schools. And she told her, young lady, stop joking around with these boys here in the village. Your husband is in the university.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Yeah, and yeah. I mean, when someone tells you that you can choose to ignore them and you can choose to turn your ways, isn't it? So luckily I turned my ways and I started working hard because I said, oh, he's in the university, nyinyi wa hapa ni Bungoma, nyinyi wa hapa wa Bungoma will not continue talking to you and we shall work hard. And so I think 2 years later, I went to the university and I happened to meet him. He likes to say how I met him. He says it's better because anaongeza sukari. But yeah, go ahead. How did I meet you?
Yeah, so 4 years later, by the way, she finished Form 3, Form 4, then 2 years of waiting, then she came to the university. I think her first week of the university, somehow she was studying a CPA and economics. So she was doing economics in the university and CPA elsewhere. And I was a very busy architectural student, very, very, very focused. And for some reason, she didn't choose to read in her faculty, in the main campus. She didn't choose to go to Chiromo. She didn't choose to go, I don't know, to Kenyatta or wherever. She came to our faculty. And she left all the other departments and came to our department. And left all other classes and came to my class. And left all desks and came to my desk. Surely. So when I found her, she was actually reading for CPA. And I had a pickup line. I was like, in accounts, I have heard of, there used to be business news on TV, when you hear news, and then there's business news. And they used to declare dividends. So some companies were there, cum dividends, some companies were there, ex-dividends. So I told her, I would like to understand, what is this cum dividend and what is ex-dividend? That was my pickup line. 25 years later, she's here, cum dividend.
So shortly thereafter, I think the reason we are telling this story is really to paint a picture of, a lot of times we tell the stories of, we are in TSAVO and this is TSAVO story. But you know, kuku hua, when you see there was the process of the egg, there was that whole process of preparation for something to come and be what it is. So I think that's really why we are sharing our story. So then we met in campus and we worked hard. Yes, we met in campus. We worked very, very hard. Him as an architectural student, and I as an economic student. I finished my CPAs, did very well, finished my degree, did very well. We spent a lot of time studying and just reading together, and nothing just starts from nowhere. I mean, TSAVO is what it is today because of all those efforts that were put in there, even in the technical training. And ultimately, at some point he told me, I will not marry you unless you get a first class. So, I mean, conditions. Someone can think I was desperate for you, right?
No, imagine, I'm not tall, I'm not dark, I'm not handsome, and I'm here giving conditions to a hot chick.
Anyway. So, I mean, and that was nice because, yes, first class did come, and first class did not come alone. It came together with a son. Yes.
Imagine that. We were very busy in the university. I want to share a story when she was in second year. When she was in second year, she had me to contend with because I'm a handful. Trust me, I'm a handful. She was expectant. She was doing CPA Section 5 and Section 6 at the same time. And in class, she got 11 A's and a B. Yeah. That is how hard she worked. Yeah, so she's always been a super hardworking person. So we do that, and we finish. I finished the university, and there was no work. These are the last days of Moi. So the economy is in shambles. There's no work. I got a job where I used to get paid 15,000 shillings every once in a while. You know, sometimes the salary would not come, and sometimes it would come. Yeah, and somehow we are raising a son. So I'm doing that. I'm doing some painting work. I'm doing model making. I'm hustling. I mean, hustler, the real hustler. You paint, you make models, you want to buy a frame, I'll sell you a frame. I was buying and selling whatever it is I could lay my hands on, and looking for jobs everywhere, and they're not coming. But we pushed. And after a year or so, then she finished the university.
So I finished campus, and I mean, you really need to get a job. Whatever job comes, you take it. I did PwC aptitude test, and I wasn't taken. That was really sad. I got a job in a company called Central Glass, and they were paying me 5,000 shillings. I stayed for 5 days, and I left. So when you see some Savorites living, anyway. So I stayed for 5 days, and then I got a job in a company called DCDM. And DCDM was an audit company, or a consulting company, and they sent me for an assignment in Shell. You'll get why this is interesting. So I started working in Shell, and really I'm just, I'm working under DCDM, but in the Shell office. And I did my best. So I think the one thing we had throughout was a very, very good work ethic. In less than a year, the assignment ended, and we had to go back to DCDM, and we left Shell. And the day we left, like on a Friday, we started working in DCDM. We went back to DCDM on Monday. But the Friday, at the ripe old age of 24 years, we were called and given retrenchment letters. Imagine. At 24 years old. So back to square zero. We have this son we are raising. We are trying to just figure out life. We had never done our wedding. We were trying to plan for a wedding, I think, at that time. And 2 months later, we did have our wedding after really saving in, tulikuwa tunazita merry-go-round, but this is the thing. After guys of Shell heard that we had been retrenched in DCDM, out of many of us, I think we were like 6 people, they called me. Why did they call me? They called me because they had seen the work ethic, they had seen the discipline, because I love accounts. Right now, I do a lot of leadership work and many other things that is not finance. But when I'm stressed, when life is hard, I go back to basics. I go back to accounting. I love accounting. And so they called me and asked me to go back and be an accountant in Kenya Shell. DCDM, Kenya Shell, worlds apart in terms of just, in terms of the nature of those companies. Shell was a blue chip company. Shell is now Vivo, for those who don't know Shell. Yeah, and we pushed in Shell. At that point, we now started thinking about what are the lessons we had forgotten. In campus, we had spent a lot of time thinking, yes, when we finish, when we start working, we'll start saving. So we started thinking, what are those lessons that we had forgotten when we got to Shell? And we went back to saving. I started saving in a SACCO, and you started saving in?
In a SACCO.
You started saving in a university SACCO as well.
Yeah. Sorry, we're just talking about a lot of hard work. A few years back, when she was still in school, she was in Strathmore. So she was in the University of Nairobi and Strathmore at the same time. And the head of the university was very close to her. If that guy was not, he was Opus Dei. If he was not this celibate man, I would have been very, very scared. So everywhere they went, he went along with her. And he told her, tell this boyfriend of yours, if he doesn't wake up at 4 and work until 4 a.m. and work until 10 p.m., he will die poor. So I was like, wow, McPhee has said that. McPhee was the head of Strathmore. McPhee has said that, so I will just do it. So I think that's sort of how we moved on. So she could get fired at 24, 3 months before our wedding, but somehow we were not worried because we knew we would just put in more effort. Yeah? For me, by that time, I think I had been fired twice. Yeah. For other reasons, my kichwangumu and all manner of things, I had been fired. But every time we got fired, we didn't worry. We knew we just come and we would work hard. So 2004, I think that's the time now we started putting our minds towards investments. Because the time that she got a job in Shell, for the very first time in our lives, we could, and this is 6 years after marriage, 6 years after meeting, we could now pay our rent and buy food, and we were a bit comfortable, yeah? But that's when we started saying, now, we need to start investing. And something changed. Immediately we made that decision to start investing, something changed. All this money we were spending carelessly, we stopped. And we started channeling every penny into investment. Now, when you start investing, if you want money for chips and food and what have you, there's always money for that. But when you move from 200 bob and 1,000 bob, and you're thinking 2 million, 3 million, what you have in the pocket is never enough. So one of the things that did to us, it taught us to work harder. It taught us to want to increase our income. So that time I'm teaching, by this time now I'm teaching at the university, so I want to teach more, but now I can't increase my income at the university very fast. So I have to do projects on the side, so I have to do my architecture, spend more time designing, spend more time building, and she has to work harder in her job. And somehow things began to pick. So the decision to invest made us better professionals. She got more in love with her accounting. I fell more in love with my architecture. And we just put in hours and hours and hours. And this effort, you must put it where it is profitable. In my journey through this, I did art. I was a painter, so I really loved painting. But it never paid. So again, we don't put effort in things that are not paying. So it never paid. And being an accountant, she's very particular about my effort and the return of my effort. So one night, let me give you a story. The last time I touched a brush, that is in 2004. One night around 1:30, I was in the house. I have these 3 paintings in front of me, and they're unfinished. So I'm trying to trying to see what I'm doing and what I'm not. And I just hear, when they're angry, they sort of, So she's coming from upstairs. Papa, is it me or is it those women of yours? I'm thinking, which women? Kumbet is the women on the... I took my brushes, ladies and gentlemen, I washed them, and I have never touched a brush since. Yeah, that was labor that was not paying. And so I put my work in the things that were paying. So we did that. Yeah. She grew in Shell. She moved to the bank, to Stanbic Bank. I stopped teaching. I opened an architectural company, and we worked. Even in the architectural company, we worked. And we won every competition that we did. I think you've seen Boma Hotel in South Sea. That was my first major project. I did that, I think, when I was, mid-30s. And not too far from here, Lenana Road, Kilimani Ring Road, there's the First Community Bank building. It sort of curves at the top, near Yaya. A huge thing. That was also my work, yeah. So we did that, and the company was thriving. But then you get to a level in your profession, even the rest of you, I'm sure some of you are at that place, where you become disillusioned. Yes, I'm paying my rent. Yes, I'm investing. Yes, I'm doing these things. But there's a hole somewhere in your heart. And there's a longing. And you want to make an impact. But we were fortunate because we had worked hard and we had invested. Just tell them the story about Sudan and the sacrifices we did to pay the loans and stuff.
So left Shell, we are saving in a circle, we find a place in Athi River to build, and we start buying the land. And as you said, because we have an objective, we need to pay for this land, that changed the way we thought about money, that changed our money habits completely. Because we needed to pay for the land. And we knew we wanted to pay for the land and then build
returns on investment.
So
and ladies and gentlemen, here is TSAVO Delights.
More than in the circle. And borrowing in the bank, if you're a bank employee, it's easier because you're paying 5%. And that's what we did. And I kept working hard. I mean, I think the promotions in the bank is where professionally. And even income-wise, my income level just continued to increase because of the discipline of hard work. Now, why we are telling this story is this. If life has not happened to you, life will happen to you at some point. And what will happen to you does not have to be what has happened to me or to somebody else that you know. It will be different. But something always happens to all of us. And if you're not prepared when that time comes, it becomes very hard to know how to navigate, whatever the challenge is, and especially a challenge that affects you financially. So I'm this superstar performer in Stanbic. I've actually been sent to Juba to start a bank for Stanbic Bank, and I'm close to the MD, I'm close to the CFO, and I made a mistake. This brilliant, hardworking girl, I made a mistake and that mistake was really just giving somebody a statement. And I had to leave the bank. And everybody said, if Emily can leave this bank, I used to say, unaacha job, unafutwa job, yani we shida yako ni nini? Like, what's your problem? You know, I didn't get it. But that actually happened to me. And everybody was like, if Emily can lose her job because she gave somebody a statement, sembuse mimi, you know. So that's what happened to me. And I had to leave Stanbic. And I was out of a job for 2 months.
2 months. Now,
for 2 months.
At the time she's leaving her job, we have all these investments happening. We have a 19 million bob loan
Yes.
because she's a star performer and I'm a hardworking businessman. But we depend on her banking job to pay at 5%. We cannot afford to pay at 17%. And then she gets fired.
Yes. So it can happen to any of us, and we all need to be prepared for any eventuality. And it doesn't have to be losing your job. It can be something else. So for 2 months, I'm looking. I think having a good name again is very good, because in 2 months, I already had another job in another bank. And we start again, you know, you start working hard, you start growing. You're starting now at a much senior level, and your income level is high. We continue to build our hostels, we continue to invest, so life goes back to normal. But sometimes you will go to a place and feel uncomfortable. And I felt very uncomfortable in the bank that I was working for. The culture was different, the people were different, I just never fitted. And I think that's the time I started really praying. You have a 90 million bob job loan, and you're thinking of quitting this job, unaduaje, you get. That's the time I started, I learned how to pray, I learned how to fast, because I was just asking God, what do I do? And one day my husband sent me a message and said, you're my wife. It is my responsibility to take care of you. If you're not happy, leave. And that was it. I left. I think it was a text. Husbands, if your wives are unhappy, anyway. It was a... You want to work in a place that you're happy. You want to work in a place that you're thriving. It was a text that came. $19 million, but it was enough to take us, to get us by for a while. Another thing, the importance of hard working and a good name. Before that day ended, I finished clearing with the bank by midday. By 5 p.m., I had another job. And this is not because, this is not because I know people like ile ya kujua watu wakubwa. No, it's just because I had a good name and people had, she has left. What shall we give her a job? And I went to, now this second, third job was in South Sudan. Of course, I had to make significant sacrifices. I left my family, I went to South Sudan, and we worked hard. We stopped building, and we just focused on paying back the loan. Remember, it's 19 million bob. The monthly repayments have gone, they've hit the roof. And so we worked hard. We continued to work hard. I worked so hard in Juba. I think I had 2 jobs. I came home every weekend. It was just a difficult season. But in 2 years, from August of 2014 to October of 2016, we had completed paying a 19 million bob job loan. Right?
And I think that's where, when things go south, sometimes you're forced to stop everything. We stopped everything. We stopped investing, we stopped building, we reduced our giving, we reduced our meals, our meat, we just stopped everything. And we were like, we are tackling this loan.
School fees.
Except school fees, of course. Yeah, school fees, we never compromised. Our children went to good schools.
Yeah.
We did everything to pay off the loan. Yeah, yeah. And the day the loan was done,
my mind was out of Juba.
Her mind was out of Juba.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, completely. So the time she was going through her troubles with leaving the bank and joining another bank, which she was uncomfortable with, I was going through my emotional turmoil. I think I was turning 40 and asking myself, why am I here in this world? But remember, rent. Because we had rent, after paying the loan, she could quit her job in Juba, and that was paying her extremely well. She actually had 2 jobs there, and both of them were paying her extremely well. But because there was income, she could leave that to come back and join the family. Because we had that income, I quit my business. The business that helped me build Boma and this other thing. I told my partners, you guys carry on, I'm gone. They told me I'm going through midlife crisis. That's the time I started keeping an afro. They said, wait, we can see you physically. You have a problem. And we came and started TSAVO. Yeah? Why did we have the guts to start TSAVO? One, we knew that between our classmates and our workmates, our former classmates and our former workmates, they know us. They know us for what we are able to do and the number of hours we are able to put in things. Not that we are sharp, not that we are talented.
But you're sharp, honey.
We're just hardworking fellows. So we came, and it is the people who believed in us as professionals who first invested in us. All the investors, almost all the investors, in the first 23 investors were people who knew us and knew our reputation as professionals. So I'm just saying, when you do well in your profession, then the purpose becomes easier to get done. And so it's been 9 years of TSAVO. We will not talk about the story of TSAVO, but as you've heard the numbers being mentioned today, in terms of people, we have...
in terms of, we have 4,000 investors.
4,000 investors.
We have about 2,600 residents. 2,000 residents are residents who live here, the tenants, because we manage for all our investors. So we have 2,600 residents.
Yes.
We started with 7 Savorites in the office in 2015.
Yes.
We now have about 160 Savorites who work with us on a daily basis in the office.
In the office.
We have about 1,300, we call them frontline Savorites. So these are the men, the men and women who work in our projects, in our sites, the builders, the askaris in the buildings, the property managers. So we have about 1,300 frontline Savorites, and we have a foundation. Siapo muspigia Mungu makofi. Yes, we have a foundation. I think I'll spend a bit of time there. I mean, we started paying school fees for children way back when we were struggling. And we used to pay for one student, we'd pay 5,000 shillings every month to just take us one child through high school. And that kept growing to 2 to 5. And now we have 350 students that, yeah? Just wanted to paint that behind this company there are professionals who are very good at their craft. Mr. Mcharo is a quintessential architect. Yes? I mean, he loves architecture. I love finance. And you will see the buildings. You will see you'll see that we manage our finances properly. I mean, it's because, and we have many Savorites who are also fantastic, who we work with. So I think just the professionalism that has made, that together with God and together with everything else and together with our 4,000 investors that have enabled us to reach where we are today.
Yeah, so I think that's the story. We now have 8,300 Savorites.
In total, the total sum.
That's a big number of people that we feel responsible for. And our hope is that we are just starting and that we'll give in all the effort to make sure that this happens. But that, managing 8,300 people, having sold about 9,000 units, the architectural thinking, the building thinking, the management, the HR, the finance systems is huge. And all that, the professionalism that we had built over the last 20 years has come to bear in this company. And I'm saying, when you start with a job which gives you 5,000 shillings or gives you 15,000 shillings, if you do it with all your heart and with all your mind and with all your strength, it's just a matter of time. Something will happen. Good things will come, bad things will come, but if you have that discipline, something will happen. And we're hoping that all of you have seen yourself at some point in this story, and we are praying that we will get to hear all these stories. Thank you very much.
Questions? So, our hope and prayer is that we will go back for Savorites who are brand new and don't know much about TSAVO. We will go back online and just listen and watch the stories that we have not said today. Maybe really about the business. But we want to take questions. We want to take a few questions, and the questions can be anything. Is it in our earlier years? Is it in our season, in the different season we've been? Is it in our season in TSAVO at the beginning? Is it this season in TSAVO now? Is it the investment journey? Is it fire? Somebody said they don't know what fire is. Yes, I can see a hand.
Yes.
Yes.
Keenly and seeing a really beautiful story there.
Yeah.
But my curiosity, how do you manage all this? First of all, you mentioned family.
Yes.
You have children. You have all these things you have mentioned.
Yes.
How do you manage all these things and make sure that they don't interfere with your interpersonal relationships, at least amongst the two of you? I'm really curious. Thank you.
They cannot interfere with our interpersonal relationship because they are our relationship. All these things are part of who we are. The great blessing we have received in TSAVO maybe started in 2013, the book. Yes. So I've been trying to read all my life, and I read quite a bit. So she was told by her boss, there's a book here that your husband must read. And she brought it to the house, and I thought, I'm tired of self-help books, I'll not read it. I think for almost a year, it just stayed there. Then one Sunday I was bored. I didn't go to church, and I was bored, and then I picked it. The book is called Good to Great by Jim Collins. If you can get it, just read it. And I learned that I don't have to do the work. I don't have to be the most brilliant person in the room. I just need to have a nose for smelling brilliant people and bring them together, and together with them set out on a purpose that we agree on. Not my purpose, not my vision, our vision collectively. And that's what we've done. And so it is these young men and women, those 160, those 1,300, our job is to feed into their spirits. And their job is to make sure that TSAVO moves forward. So we are not overly stressed. It's very interesting. We actually have, we spent the whole day today in hospital with my dad, knowing that this big thing is happening. And once we are done with hospital, then we came here, knowing that things have been taken care of. Once in a while, the video will not show. Once in a while, something, that's fine. They are 24 years old, and they will get there. But I think our big secret is these people. These people are the best team you can have in this country.
Nothing to add. But don't try it in your year one of marriage.
Oh yes. Yeah, fortunately, we had invested together for a long time. Money was central to our conversation all those years. And we had been married.
An alignment.
Thank you for that. Your story is very inspiring, and also inspiring to some of us who would like to, grow in the investment environment. So my question to the both of you is why, or what drove you specifically to investing in real estate? Why? I mean, you have an architect, you have a finance person. You could have gone a very different route. And I think one of your earlier stories that you said was you had started with hostels. So what is it that really drove you into the world of real estate and then really stuck on it now to become developers, to become owners, to become catalysts in the real estate world? Maybe, just that. What was it that drove you to real estate?
So at the beginning, we really wanted to just invest, really. I think at some point you had Unga shares.
Yes.
Yeah. Unga and
Mumias.
something else. Mumias. We tried shares those days when Mumias was a big deal. But him being an architect, real estate came a lot easier for him. And as somebody said that I look like I'm very aggressive. No, I'm still just a submissive wife.
She's very aggressive. but she has trained her mind to be submissive. It is so hard for her.
But yes, so when we said, I think the conversation started with we will build apartments in Kitengela. He said that, and I laughed at him. I was like, "Si fast to parent, Then building apartments in Kitengela moved to owning land in Athi River, and then building student hostels. For two reasons. I think because of the university days are being there, and I think you're driving with your brother one day and so. And for me, I come from Bungoma and I lived in hostels my time in the university, and it was very hard for my mother to pay. So there was just this desire. We knew there would be a lot of money in hostels. So then that. Fast forward. So we spent 13 years. Our goal was 15 years, but we spent 13 years building our hostels. We built 100, to be precise, how many? 99? 99 rooms in 13 years. This building is 600, this is about 620, and we built it in barely 18 months. So the lessons of the 13 years were many. It is slow. It's 10 rooms a year. It was just slow, but in that slowness, there were very many lessons.
You paint a corridor, money ends in the middle.
You stop. Until money comes.
Then you continue painting the corridor.
Yes. So because of the many lessons we had learned, just in the hostels, it was much easier for us to come into real estate. And then another thing, we had become financially independent from the income from those hostels. So why don't we use the same model to enable many Kenyans achieve financial independence from income from hostels? So lessons from that period.
So 13 years, but even when we came to TSAVO, the plan was not to get into real estate. It was an architectural company. It was actually TSAVO Architects. Then we realized it's not working. So we did TSAVO Interiors. It failed. We had a TSAVO Housing Circle. It failed. We had pre-designed home plans. They failed. We had TSAVO Capital. The name was taken, but the idea was there. We tried it. It failed. We had 8 business models that failed. If you're thinking of masters of failure, yeah. You'll see because see when you're telling your story, it's sort of glossed over. It has a nice veneer, but the business has failed. You see the marriage, nice people, the fights you have, they're there, kila kitu, iko. Yeah, so it's just learning how do you fight and push through when things are not working. And you do that long enough, something will happen. So for us, I think after failing all this time for 18 months, because we started TSAVO in 2015, we did our first project at the end of 2016. So we had 18 months of lost in the wilderness. So it's until at that time somebody said, but you guys have hostels. You guys are getting rent. Why don't we start a business that makes Kenyans get the same advantage that you got? Boom. Yeah. But that could not have happened. That just didn't come like that. It came in the midst of the struggle. Yeah. Oh.
Hello? Oh, okay. I would like to, first of all, thank you for the invites. I'm sure all of us are very grateful to be here. I'm one of the many investors here, so thank you for this opportunity. I want to ask about that program you guys have regarding the school fees for the children. You mentioned, I don't know if you mentioned the name or if I forgot, but I would like to know more about that and see if we can collaborate. And also, the collaboration, do you mean in terms of finances or even providing food, snacks, all that, or, yeah, just that?
So, all right, okay. So just like really briefly, but we can take your number and maybe have a conversation later. But really briefly, we pay school fees for students going to Form 1, specifically Form 1. We focus in the counties where our TSAVO rights come from. So you must be a needy child. That's one assessment. You must be needy. You must have gotten a certain grade in class 8, and now you need to go to Form 1, but you don't have the financing. So we pay school fees. We only pay school fees. We don't do snacks and the other things. It gets a bit complicated once you go to that space. Yeah, we pay school fees from Form 1 all the way to Form 4. Yeah, and then hopefully after Form 4, our prayer is they would then be able to get help and these other things and go to the university. So that's really about the foundation. But we'll be happy to collaborate with you. Yeah, thank you. Yes.
Thank you. My name is Caroline Kosimba, and thank you. You have a very beautiful story. So I could be representing women who have gone through a certain journey. Like you said, everyone has a story. So where do you begin when you have to rebuild? Personally, I feel I'm in the season where I have to rebuild. And when I talk to you call them firebrands. What do you call them?
Fire partners.
Yeah, fire partners. These are young people, and when they tell you, when they're giving you the information and what you need to do, you look at them and ask yourself, okay, where have you been all my life? So, but they really encourage. So thank you to, I think it's Jeff that I keep speaking to. So how do you, for those who have to start rebuilding, what do you have to say just to encourage them?
I think maybe just learning from my journey, nothing is ever lost until you decide it is completely lost. So I think in your mind, if you decide, yes, that was a setback, that was a failure, that was whatever it is, whatever that story is, but I'm starting a new story, and you make that decision in your mind. I think it starts in the mind. If you make that decision in the mind, and then start taking steps, whatever steps, and those steps could be perhaps not where you are, they could be a bit below, but just then have the humility to start wherever that place is and start building up again. But in the mind, I think because I think we, especially ladies, we lose it if you feel my world has ended, I'm not going to be able to pick up myself again, da-da-da-da-da. But if you're able to just tell yourself, I'm going to try, and I'll try, whatever trying is, whatever it is that you have an opportunity to do, you do it, and you do it with all your heart, with all your mind, and of course using the networks you have. If you do have any networks, people do come in handy to just either hold your hand or walk with you or present opportunities, and if you do it well, then yeah. I'm not sure if I have.
A little story. My father was a very senior civil servant. So we lived well in a nice estate, and he knew you become a civil servant and then one day you retire and you're okay. And then he got fired. Those ones of just boom. He got those days when if you cross the wrong powers badly, you get fired. And he went to zero. I mean, he went to absolutely zero. So when we met, we were at the point where everything was zero. And it took a long time, but he rebuilt. Even for us, I think from at the very beginning, I remember when I was teaching at the university, my shoes had a hole. I mean, my sole was literally touching the ground because, you know, and it was hard to fathom, how are we going to live? And then we met one of our friends. One day, so I'm walking towards the university, and I meet one of my former classmates. She was in another faculty, but same year. And I have my shoes on. She had come from an interview, and her heel had broken. So she was actually carrying her shoes. So I came home and said, if Phyllis could do this, but then she passed the interview. It was with Safaricom. I think now she's doing very well. If Phyllis can go through life, I think we can, because she's alone, she's a single mother. We have a baby, but at least we are two of us. So I think just focusing on the thing that is there and knowing, we need to tell ourselves, the Bible every time says, and it came to pass. And it came to pass. Whatever it is, when it comes, it will pass. And then just sort of start again and keep moving. And one of the things we have realized, that's why we try and have the payment plan. Because for us, when we started investing, somebody gave us a payment plan. So that we do it slowly. That by the time you can do it big, you have had time to sort of stabilize. Yeah. Okay, I think we have taken a very long time, and these people are looking at me. So, asanteni sana, God bless. You want to have some finishing remarks?
No, I just wanted to say, I mean, during dinner, we will all be here. Let's converse. If you still have questions, we'll still be here, so you can come and ask us, and we can chat some more. Sawa. Thank you. God bless you. And thank you so much for coming. Yeah.
From a piece of land, from a piece of land,
Thank you so much, Charles.
Believing in a
please
dream
look at
that
the
many
screen.
will
I
turn
think we are here
audition.
for one great purpose. TSAVO finally in Kileleshwa. Enjoy.
From a piece of land, a man dares to dream, believing in a dream that many will term audacious, but generous enough to share this dream with 1,000+1. The TSAVO dream, a promise guaranteed to he who digs deep into his pocket, a journey of stability, a life of independence, and a sleeper who earns. Be, belong, become. The architect awakes, life flowing through her hands, and with a magical touch, turns paper to concrete, space to shelter, and passion to beauty. Facades, charming to the eye, we see our baby, royal as ever, step out from the base of the earth, beyond the 7 hills of Rome, beyond the horizon, like a walk to the sky, like a toast to the sunset, like a sentinel on the watch. And after many years, the oceans turn red, but blue remains my color, uncontested, unrivaled, untrapped, for I choose the TSAVO dream.
Yeah, our color is blue. So maybe just to give you a history behind how we choose our locations. I think we've been very intentional to be a data-driven company, because for us, the investment bit is actually you getting cash flow that will allow you to become financially independent. So as we look for these locations, we are very particular to look at locations that are very highly populated, have very good rents, because there are areas that are very highly populated but the rents are not as good, have very good rents, but at the same time can attract the kind of tenant we are designing this for. Yeah, I think I'm very happy because I'm just looking around and I'm seeing investor. So hopefully, as I say, you get the rent. It is true. I have seen some who are getting rent. And so we have been very particular with these locations, and we've focused, if you have seen what we've done, and of course this is information you can get online, we've been in very specific areas. So we started in Rongai, we went to Embakasi side. God has enabled us. In Embakasi we have 3 phases now. After Embakasi, we've done Roysambu side, that's along Thika Road. Roysambu, we have 5 phases. That's the realization of the TSAVO city, that is the royal city. We've done Tindigwa along Kiambu Road, and that's where even our offices are. We've come to this side, so on this side we have this one along Wanye. We've done a number of projects along Naivasha Road towards Riruta near Precious Blood. We've also done something directly opposite Ilri. So I hope these are locations at least you've seen, you've had, or you've invested in. But then the pressure to come to this upmarket has never ceased. I think just the question of, we want something in a different location. When we did Skywalk, I remember we mentioned that we released this project during COVID, and it actually sold. But that just really represents the kind of demand that is in this particular location. That does not necessarily mean it will demean the locations we've done, but there is need here. There's a reason as to why investors still choose these locations. So finally, it is my pleasure to launch TSAVO Delight. Tupigieni makofi. So TSAVO is finally in Kileleshwa. My dear, I think you talked about rebuilding. Sawa. When Charo talks of his story, maybe you might not understand the intensity of starting a company and actually leaving it. Sawa. When he was in that company, he did the mihrab. By the way, ukikuwa TSAVO Delight, you will see mihrab, lakini utosini. It will be at the top. Pigeni makofi. And so that is the power of actually defining your path, really, really understanding your purpose, and being able to create. I think even there was a man here who said, he wants to get to a point where you actually build this. You actually have this. And it's possible. But here we are at TSAVO Delight is at Kileleshwa. How many have an idea of where it is? Kama umepata, hey, Syria yezi fichwa. You guys have already seen the pin location. So along Oloitoktok Road, just after Methodist. So if you're coming from the roundabout, you'll see the Methodist Resort. Hey, thank you. Please. Yeah, we are right at the road. It's usually very interesting when we have such projects. We are right at the road. So this is a very interesting project for us. Of course, it's an interesting location. We believe that everyone after today will have figured out their purpose so that we sell that project today, yes? So that we sell that project today. 600 inaweza tushinda. Moja tu, no pressure, just one. So we'll have, of course, our models there, and I'll be able to take the questions, but just briefly to take you through this project. So we'll have studios. We'll have something called a superior studio. I hope most of us have had enough time to just go around and see what a studio is, what a superior studio is. We'll have the 1-bedrooms as well. Yeah? So of course, this is slightly in the alpha market. So we're looking at about 3.2 million to about 4.7 million. But we still have the flexible payment plan. So you can start from as low as 50,000 a month. So with that, I hope that can influence your pocket today. You can just send it via M-Pesa. There's a pay bill number. Anyway, so for us, I think Kileleshwa is it's a very interesting story for us as a company. I think it shows how you can push your boundaries and really, really still attain the purpose around your existence. So what we've tried to do is we've gone to a location that has high population, for sure. It has high demand. It has very good rents. But we've just taken our model, that model that we do in Roysambu, and try to bring the affordable model within the city. So if you try to just see our trends, what we are currently offering, someone who's bought in Roysambu and someone who's bought in Kilelesho, your returns are more or less the same. But it's because we are really, really guided by this thing we called an affordable, amazing apartment. And so what we've done is just looked at the data for this location and seen what would work here and still allow us to give you a very flexible payment plan that really, really you can even put a standing order and start paying. Yeah? So as I mentioned, we have studios going for 3.2 million. We have the Superior Studio, so a Superior Studio is just slightly bigger. If you've not had a chance to see the project, we will give you an opportunity to go and see the units here so that it gives you an idea of what I'm talking about. But the Superior Studio is slightly bigger, going for about 3.8. And then now we have the one bedrooms going for about 4.7. The project is really lovely. I don't know if we can see anything on the screen. I don't know if we have capacity to just show how the project looks like. Then in the meantime, I have now opened the floor for questions towards Delight. I don't know if we have something we can show on the screen. I'm also taking questions. Any questions? Oh, bring.
Hi. So I'm guessing what we're seeing on the screen is what's going to happen, what's there. I just wanted to find out, so how far along are you in terms of construction, and what should we as what do we call ourselves? Investors,
Yes.
TSAVO, right, Sama?
Yes.
Investors, what
Yes.
should we expect moving forward until the finish of construction?
So just to answer that question and hopefully to bring clarity, by the time we are launching a project, we give ourselves time to sell the project and then start construction. So we are launching today, meaning the sales, the money will start getting in today. We are looking to start the project May, June, thereabout. So if you're coming to invest for the first time, there's something we usually send out called a site update. So the moment we've started construction, you get weekly site updates on the progress of the site. Yeah, so you're able to really just track that and of course help you just advise on how fast you want to pay so that by the time we finish construction, you've also finished paying. So this one is yet to begin. We are starting to sell. We believe that we will sell within a week or two, but construction will start thereafter. Yes. There's a question there, Juma. Oh, then you can pass the mic to her as well. Yes.
Okay, at this point, we have the location, we have the land. Do we have all the approvals? Can we start doing our due diligence as of now?
Yeah, so that is underway. We are able to present to you the necessary documents that you may need. Of course, we have our legal team. I think we have a few representatives who are here. FMC? Is FMC in the building? I think we had a few people who came in. So we have our legal team, so they'll be able to present to you the due diligence documents that will help you with that. And maybe just to assist you further, of course, because we've given a very flexible payment plan, once you've done the first payment, which is depending on whichever payment plan you've taken, you'll also be presented for an agreement for sale. So that is possible, yeah.
My question is around the size of the units. Typically, the size of the other projects are more or less the same.
Yes.
So is the size of like the studio, the Superior Studio, all going to be the same as what is in the other projects?
Yes, so we try to standardize our projects. Remember, this is an investment, meaning someone who's buying value from one location is investing in TSAVO. And so we've really gone and seen what is the kind of size that works for this resident. As we are designing this, we don't have you in mind. Selfishly, we have the user of the building at the very end. So we designed these units to fit the kind of tenants we desire to host. And so we standardize our sizes across. So wherever you're buying, if you're buying a studio, that's about 200 square foot. If you're buying a Superior Studio, that's about 250. If you're buying a one bedroom, that's about 300 square foot. And so once you've had an opportunity to see the units here, the way you're seeing that is the way it will be replicated in Delight. Now, as we go, because we are learning, this is something that, you try, see what works, change what is not working, and adjust it to fit the desired resident. So as we go, there are things that become better. Of course, our finishes. So if you've seen our projects as we come along, you get to realize it gets better. We get to pick the materials a bit better. We get to understand what is robust for our building. So as we go, we get to improve the finishes. But in terms of design and the size, we retain as is, and we also keep getting continuous feedback from our residents so that we just give actually a proper functioning unit that makes this lifestyle possible. Yeah. Yes, please.
My name is Joseph.
Yes, Joseph.
So as we all know about Kileleshwa, there are no students there.
Yes.
So how are you going to do about that?
So interesting question. I think very many people, when they hear studio or see the way TSAVO building is designed or see the tenants who live in and out of TSAVO, the first thing is usually, student. But remember, we offer property management. So our role is not just to get someone in that unit. Our role is to ensure who is this sustainable person that we are able to get in this unit who will be able to serve you across the year. Because you see, this is an investment. 1 month's lost is not recovered. So we are very intentional. Yes, in some of our properties, we attract students, but we are very intentional to look at a particular market. So straight from campus, in their first jobs, and if you look at a place like Kileleshwa, now we are feeding people who are working in town, we are feeding people who are working in Upper Hill, we are feeding all the media houses, we are feeding people who are from Daystar. I think I was so excited because even here in Skywalk, I personally was in Daystar. I know a number of people who are in Daystar who live here. So you're feeding a number of people who lived their lives, most of their campus lives along this road, and retain their working lives along this road. So not necessarily just students. Of course, here and there we get students, but majority are working professionals straight from campus, and hopefully even with the mindset of this investing. Yeah, but that, because it's our responsibility, we sort you that. We want you to earn while you sleep. So that is our stress.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So this comes from a bit of an architectural perspective.
Yes.
I am an enthusiast for human living. So by observing the way TSAVO works, I'm also a resident of TSAVO.
Oh, nice.
And compliments to you guys for how you've built your structures and how you manage them. Yeah? So much adoration. However, I'll say in the spirit of improving and becoming better, just a perspective. In terms of, I see at the top, there's a rooftop pool, yes?
Yes.
Do you have structures that you manage the pool yourselves, preferably even have maybe something that goes around it, or do you just leave it for, anyone to run it and, take care of it, or quotation marks, take care of it?
Yes.
That's one, because generally as a observation, rooftop pools can be a little dicey. We have one here, and it's nice, but just for management purposes. I hope you're looking at something. Also, another thing that has been observed in the world of apartments, basically, yeah? There's this thing where, given that you have a good number of people in one space, I know management, again, that's why I compliment your management, because managing a big group of people is work. So another thing is where you have your hanging lines at the rooftop, there's usually a fear of having a collection of clothes, yeah? So just trying to manage such things. I hear you mentioned your target is for the resident, right? Investors are investors, but then residents get to experience the space.
Yes.
So, yeah, managing those two at least can be tricky, but just for perspective, I think you should look into it.
Okay,
Thank you.
Yes. Oh. Juma.
Hi, sorry, please allow me to just ask a second question. As a follow-up to a question that was asked in terms of size, and especially the site, the market, the market in Kileleshwa. You mentioned that it's standardized. Ideally, if it's a studio, if it's a one-bedroom, here, whether it's here or whether it's Kileleshwa, it's ideally a standardized kind of model. And I guess this is a conversation that we'll be having with the founders and with other people. but I just wanted to mention, or just to really put it out there, it would be very interesting to have a conversation around what you would expect in terms of the tenancy in Kileleshwa. Me as an investor looking in, what's your expectation with the tenancy in Kileleshwa? If it's the same studio, the same size here in Rongai, and you're taking that to Kileleshwa, looking at the types of rents that you're able to attract in Kileleshwa, and looking at the tenants that will be looking for a studio, not in Kileleshwa and not for those rents, it'll be very interesting to find out how it is that that's being handled, or that's being proposed to move forward. Yeah, basically the business model behind the Kileleshwa site in specific. It's a conversation that I look forward to having with you guys. Thanks.
Okay. Maybe, yeah, sure.
I think the issue about size is interesting because it's affordability. So Kileleshwa and Kilimani have been for the older, wealthier, that kind of people. But our role is to democratize this thing. And so you have to give it at the right price point. And that means, what are they looking for, the people of that age bracket? So in Delight itself, there's a big mansion. I think it was a 5-6 bedroom house, right? It's not one family who lives there. Every single room in that house has a tenant. Right adjacent to that, to Delight, is the 3 apartments. 1, 2, 3. So from the outside, it looks like one house, but they're actually 3 apartments. And in each of those 3 apartments, every single room has a different tenant. So that's already telling you that there's a demand for the smaller spaces that people can be able to afford. I work in Kilimani, and I'm just getting in. My boss works in Kilimani also. He can live in Kileleshwa, but I have to go to somewhere out of town. What if there's a product that was designed for me? That when my boss leaves the office and drives 2 kilometers, I can also leave the office and walk or drive 2 kilometers, just like him. So I think that's where we are coming in. So Kileleshwa was half acre, 1 bungalow. Now, along Loitoktok Road, it moved now to half acre, or quarter acre, and 3 little apartments. But now things are changing. Yeah, so I think to attract the young people, affordability becomes the most important thing. Yeah, yeah. And sizing helps in that. If you go for the 3-bedroom or very large, luxury, spacious, you will not get a market. It's very difficult. That's why our competitors have billboards. Check any one project, has billboards all over the city. But you will never see a billboard for TSAVO. You'll never see a for sale sign. Fortunately, you will never see a to let sign. Why? We have tried to understand the psychology of the resident. And once you have the psychology of the resident right, then you as an investor, your needs are taken care of. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of development going on in Kilimani, Kileleshwa, and right on Oloitoktok, there's Valley Heights by the Chinese. It just started, I think they finished about 4 months ago. And a studio at Valley Heights, off plan, was about 4.5. It's now maybe 5.5. I can't remember the exact size. And so listening to the price of a 1-bedroom for Delight, which is along the same street, and the returns, I think if someone was to think really well about where they want to put their money, probably they would go for the Chinese development, because a studio right now is fetching, the small studio is fetching 55, and a bigger studio is fetching 60,000. So I don't know how, I mean, is it fair, like I take a 1-bedroom at Delight for 4.8, and I'm getting, was it 30?
35.
And I can go down and get this apartment or a studio at the Chinese development on the same street and fetch 50 or 60K. So
I don't know if you've thought about that
Yeah.
in your design and in terms of return for investment, because that's what people are looking for.
Yeah, I think we are usually very reserved with what we promise. It's very easy for us to stand and say, the rent will be 60. And it might be possible, but how true is that? And how sustainable is that across the year? By the time we are coming to say, if at 3.2 million for a studio, we have estimated that you can actually get 23,000. It's not a joke. I can actually guarantee by the time the project is complete, you will always have a tenant. Because I can come and tell you, I can give you 60,000, fair enough, it's possible. I can get someone who works for the external companies and they're able to pay that amount of rent, but how sustainable is that promise? So we are usually very reserved at the very beginning because we know, even as we go to these locations, there are two things we want to protect. We want to protect the interest that you will gain as an investor after the project is complete, meaning what is the capital gain that you're looking at as an investor. So we price of course we have the affordable thing, but we price it in a way that even after construction, if you're looking at what you have gained as value, this 3.2 can easily jump by 33%, and you will still be in an affordable space where if things are thick, you can sell that unit. Because if today I sell that unit at 3 million, after completion, to get it about 4.5, you can get a Kenyan who will buy it off at cash. But if I sell it today at 4.5 million, how many Kenyans can afford 6 million in cash? You get the psychology? So that by the time we are pricing this unit, we know that you're able to actually recover. That capital gain that we promise is actually true. Number two, when you're looking at the rent, by the time we finish construction, because our projects take about 3 years, so 30 to 36 months, by the time we finish construction, it is possible that this rent that we are promising today at 20,000, say for example, within 3 years, it might not be 20,000. But if I start with the promise of 30, 50,000 for a studio, once the project is complete, I have no room to increase that. So whatever you've calculated today as your return on investment, in 3 years' time, I have no room to increase that. If you look at our projects, we've been safe enough to say, by the time the project is complete, we are able to increase the rent immediately after construction, and along the years, around 1 year, 2 years, depending on the location, we are able to increase the rent by roughly 1,000 bob. Yeah? But the moment we've gone to that flashy amount, then it means in the next 10 years, I can't increase that rent. Because when things are thick, people will move out of that house. These areas, we are just trying to say, this affordable thing, we can actually make that affordable lifestyle here. Here too. We want to bring all that, to bring it here. But the moment I go the Kileleshwa way, then it means, one, I have no differentiation. So my price is not strategic, it's just the Kileleshwa price. Then number two, I have no room to increase your rent. Then you realize with real estate, your return on investment, for you to recover that money, generally, it takes about 8 years to 15 years, depending on the price against the return on against the rent. But that is not standard. If you're able to increase that income every year, then what would have taken you 10 years can come lower to 8 years. But if today I tell you I can give you 50,000 and you will earn 50,000 for the next 10 years, you will recover that money in 12 years. So I think for us, we are usually very strategic. Yes, we would like to promise the very flashy rents. We would like to promise the very flashy costs of the locations that we are going in. But we would actually like to guarantee you your return on investment as an investor. We'd rather go slowly and use the data we are using, because we'll present the data. We'd rather go slowly, use the data we are capturing, and actually see where is the need. And what is that thing that we call affordable for this resident? So that we are not creating from backward that, what is good for the investor, then, no. What is that for the resident? Then circle back. So that as you're going along Oloitoktok Road, one day, when that TSAVO is uko juu, you will not see empty units. Because there's nothing as bad as an empty unit in real estate. 1 month's rent lost, it can never be recovered. So we give you a price point that we know by the time we finish this construction, within 90 days, I think we usually give ourselves about 3 to 4 months, depending on the size of the project, but we know within 90 days, the place will be fully occupied. I think that can only work if we are driven by data and not external pressure of what is happening in that location. Yeah. I don't know, any more questions? I think I can see a lot of people are leaving. I would like to quickly assure you that the dinner is ready. But very, very quickly, please allow me to introduce the team, because as we are going for dinner, you'll start interacting with these Savorites. So Savorites, for those who are here, please come up. Araka, araka. Our internal Savorites, please come. So we have a team of Savorites who will be talking to you throughout the dinner. Of course, if you have more questions, they are well able to answer all the questions. We are also available. The Mcharos are here. So feel free to interact. We have our investors amongst us. Our investors know us better. Ask, don't be worried. Whatever they tell you, it is the truth. So we have our investors here. But I'd like to call upon the Savorites so that if you see someone, don't panic. Please come, Araka. So as they come in, just to clarify, after this, we are going to have the dinner. So we have tables set around us. So we'll just turn our seats to the tables around us. If you'd like to use the washrooms, we have washrooms here. So for the ladies, and we'll have a team of ushers who will guide you. For the ladies, we have units A006 and A009, which are at the ground floor level. Our team will direct you for the ladies. For the gents, you will access the washrooms at the gym. And at the very end of this corridor, there is also a gents washroom. Please come up, please come up. Savorites. So you'll just quickly see your name. I think there are people who have fire partners. Maybe you've never seen them. So quickly just say your name and of course give the mic to the next person. And say what you do.
Hi everyone. My name is Kevin Moura, fire partner at TSAVO. Fire partner, resident, investor.
Hi guys. Hi. My name is Beatrice. I'm a fire partner at TSAVO. I'm also a resident and an investor.
Hi everyone. My name is Maureen Chelagat. I'm a fire partner at TSAVO and also an investor.
Hi, my name is Donna. I'm a Savorite. I'm a fire partner and also an investor.
Good evening. My name is Abby Gedenji, a fire partner and equally an investor. Karibu sana.
Hello. My name is Victoria, a fire partner and also an investor.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Viola Natalie, and I'm a Savorite and a fire partner.
Good evening. My name is Cynthia Cheruto. I'm a Savorite and also an investor.
Hi, everyone. My name is Victoria. I'm a Savorite, and I bring residents.
Hi, my name is Fides. I'm a Savorite, and I also bring residents.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jambin Gare, a Savorite, a fire partner, and an investor in TSAVO.
Hi, everyone. My name is Marthy, a fire partner and also an investor.
Hi, guys. My name is Lucy, a Savorite, a movement partner, and also a resident.
Hi, my name is Daisy Mokiri, a fire partner and an investor.
Hi, guys. My name is Agnes Wanjiro, a fire partner, a Savorite, and an investor.
Hi, everyone. My name is Hilda. I'm a Savorite. Yeah, I work in IT.
Hi, my name is McKenna. I'm a Savorite, a resident, and a fire partner.
Good evening, guys. My name is Victor Koech. I'm a builder.
Good evening.
My name is Kelvin Kariuki. I'm a builder as well.
Just hold on. This man with all his weight, this is the architect of TSAVO Delight. Right here.
Good evening. Yeah, my name is Isaac. I'm a fire partner at TSAVO, and I'm very happy today to see all of us here having launched this great project. Thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. My name is Karen Nyambura. I am a Savorite, I am a movement partner, and I am an investor as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. These are the guys you'll meet as you're eating your dinner. Musijali, wanakula pia yao kando wakiwaongelesha. They have all the answers to TSAVO Delight, and hopefully every one of us will come out here as a Savorite in Delight. Of course, my name is Martha Inyuma, a former resident of all SAVOs. Nilianzia huko penye walikuwa natafuta financial independence OC. But yeah, this dream of live, work, impact, invest impact is real. So I'm a fire partner here at TSAVO, and I am also an investor of TSAVO. Karibuni sana. I would like us to now start organizing for the dinner. Mtanisaidia, at least just to usher people. We have food being served at the very end. There is everything enough for you to eat and drink. Yapo ya kukunywa ni juice tu na chai, lakini it is enough. And then, of course, we'll settle around and just have discussions around investing. Thank you so much. Enjoy your evening and be blessed. Karibuni.